What's up, y'all? We back at it, man. And I just finished watching all 8 episodes of Devil May Cry Season 2. If you don't know, I'm a huge fan of the game franchise. In fact, it's one of my favorite game series of all time. Um, but when it comes to Season 2 of the anime, I can honestly say it is way better than Season 1. Don't get me wrong, Season 1 wasn't bad, but it was far from perfect in my opinion because they did a lot of changes. This is supposed to take place in a different universe, and the story is supposed to be separate from the games, and that was a little hard for me to accept in season one. But by the time we get to season two, I'm a little more accepting for it, and I did actually like the story of the White Rabbit in season one. I thought he was one of the best characters of that actual season. Now you got season two here, and they just did everything right. In fact, when it comes to season two, it honestly could have been season one in my opinion. And the crazy thing is, like, they chose to make this different from the games. Like, the overall story is still the same, but they chose to change a lot of stuff from the games. But then they chose to keep some things the same as the game. Like, we find out more about Lady's backstory, as well as Virgil, working for Mundus in this, I'm saying, in this city, in this series. And then, we having the iconic battle of, I'm saying, of Dante versus Virgil right here, which was insane. Like, and they used scenes from the actual game. They used music, background music from the game. Like, it was a lot of stuff from the game they chose to include, but they chose to make the overall story different from the game. So that's the like, I'm saying, that's the only thing that's a little like surprising. Like, yo, why even use parts or scenes from the actual game story if you want the overall story to be different? That's my only thing I don't really understand. But if I had to pick a gripe, because I'm not going to say this season is perfect. If anything, I would say season one was probably a 7 out of 10. This is any season two is probably like an 8.5 and 9 out of 10 in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. They did Virgil justice. Like, every time Virgil was on the screen, he was doing the damn thing, and that's how it was in the game. Like, Devil May Cry 3, um, as well as Devil May Cry 5, and I guess you could say Devil May Cry 1, even though we didn't know that was Virgil at the time. But every time we seen Virgil in the game, he was doing some badass shit. And the same thing was for season 2. Every time he stepped on screen, he was doing some crazy stuff. Like, he was insane. Like I said, this battle right here with him and Dante, it felt just like Devil May Cry 3. It's crazy because this season kind of ended uh, the way that season, I mean, not season, but this season ended the way that the game, Devil May Cry 3, ended, in a way where, what I'm saying, you have it where Virgil decides to stay in the demon world. He throws, what I'm saying, he throws Dante back to the original world. And he says, like, yo, I'm going to finish off Mundus myself because he was the one who, what I'm saying, murdered our mom. So you have it where it ends like that, but then it's like kind of different because, you know what? I'll let you watch the final episode to see the differences. But like I said, my biggest gripe with this season though was the music. Now, I love the music choices they had. I thought they were perfect. They fit very well in this season. I just didn't like how, I don't know, maybe it was just my TV. You guys could let me know if y'all TV did the same thing. But there was a lot of scenes where the music was so damn loud in the background that it took away from, like, what I'm saying, me actually hearing what the characters were saying. Like, I couldn't hear what they, like, I had to put the captions on. It's crazy because it was English. I was watching the English dub version, and I'm like, yo, I could barely hear them in some of the scenes because the damn songs in the background is so damn loud. Now, maybe that's just me. You guys can let me know. I know a lot of people upset that I seen online. A lot of people upset that they actually was using some of the songs from Nero from, like, from Devil May Cry 4, mostly, where it was songs that actually went to his character. It was pissing some people off, and then I know some people don't like the fact that Dante, voice actor for the anime, is played by was it Johnny Young Botch, and he actually plays the voice of Nero in the games. Now, to me, it felt like you could barely tell in this season it was him. He sounded a lot different, if you ask me, compared to how he sounded in season one, where you were actually able to tell who he was. And then also you have it where the story just focused around. Virgil getting his memories back, Dante trying to save Virgil, Lady finding out what her father really did. You know what I'm saying? To her in the past, which turns out to be exactly what happened in Devil May Cry 3. And I really love the whole aspect of the Jester. I imagine he's going to play a big part in season 3 if we get a season 3. I don't know. There hasn't been any announcements for season 3, but I imagine we would get it because this season was way better than the first season, and we got a second season. So we got to be getting a third season. Also, they got the main bad guy from season, I mean, not from season, but from Devil May Cry 2, which is one of the most hated Devil May Cry games. I would say it is the most hated, but then I know a lot of people hated that remake they tried to do called DMC. I actually enjoyed the DMC game, but a lot of people hated that. So it's hard to say, which one they hate more. But let me know down below. What's your least favorite Devil May Cry game? But anyway, they had the main bad guy from DMC, Devil May Cry 2. He was like, I guess one of the main villains. Him and Mundus together, they both were like the main villains. But you had it where he was trying to summon this monster of chaos. Now I don't recognize this monster of chaos from the games. If he was in one of the games, he must have been a small character. You guys could let me know, but I didn't remember him. But like I said, this was a pretty good, second season. The battle with Virgil and Dante, they fought several times. The only gripe I kind of got about against their battles with one another is Virgil won every battle they had. Yeah, Virgil won every battle they had, and Dante in the game, like he lost. Like it was kind of like he lost the first time they fought, and then he won the last time they fought in in game 3 in Devil May Cry 3, which was while they were young. But this time, it seemed like Dante really got his ass whooped a lot. I mean, he got some dubs, but definitely none against his brother. Virgil beat him every damn time. But I do like that because that was one of my biggest gripes about the Devil May Cry game that we got when DMC 4 came out. I think that had to be like, was it 02, 04 when we got it? Had to be like 04 when that game came out. Maybe a little after 04. It might have been 04, 06 when Devil May Cry 4 came out. And we had it where we got the anime because I got the deluxe edition for Devil May Cry 4, and it came in like a steel case. I still got it somewhere in here, but it came in a steel case, and it came with I think it was the first 4 episodes of the anime. And my biggest gripe about that Devil May Cry anime was just how overpowered Dante was. Like, I mean, no one was a challenge. He didn't even. I don't think he even used his double trigger, if I'm remembering correctly, the whole season. Like he was like he like, eyes turned red once at the end at the final episode, but he was just one shotting everybody, and I was just like, yeah, I mean Dante is powerful, but damn, like make someone a challenge. He was like One Punch Man without the comedy. That's how he was. He was just going through and just whooping everybody's ass. And so we got this one where Dante kind of feels a lot weaker, where everyone's kind of whooping his ass, but it's more so him not really knowing how to unleash his power, which he gets more comfortable with that towards the end of the series. But yeah, I didn't like the fact that he lost a lot in this season, but I mean that was really not that big a deal. But I also didn't like the fact that at the end of the season, and he got separated and realized that Virgil was still alive in the demon world. They didn't do the scene. I don't know. I really love that scene from Devil May Cry 3, the game, where he's crying and you know what I'm saying, lady says like, "Yo, are you crying?" He was like, "Nah, it's just the rain." And he says, she says, "Well, I think even a devil may cry," and that's when he chose to name his shop because Devil May Cry becomes the name of his shop. I mean, granted, he didn't say he was going to open up a shop in this series, so it's still time for something like that to happen. But I would have liked to have seen that. That's just an iconic scene to me. And then we kind of got it in this season from like Mundus and Virgil. Like Virgil was crying as a kid, and you had it where, you know what I'm saying? You kind of got like the reverse version because Mundus says devils don't cry. So, I mean, maybe I just was hoping we would get the maybe devils may cry scene in this anime, but we didn't get it this season. But having Virgil and Dante fight right here, this shit was epic as hell. Kind of reminded me of what was it, the Obito versus Kakashi fight in Naruto because it was showing both of them as young and old at the same time, going at one another. I thought this was a pretty dope fight. But yeah, and then the fact they switched scenes where Dante always won as a kid. Everything came easy to Dante as a kid. Uh, Virgil had to train hard for his strength to get his power. But overall, like I said, it's a great season. I don't want to spoil too much for y'all. I probably did. But go check it out for yourselves and let me know your thoughts down below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let me know your thoughts on season 2.